Welcome to episode number 14 of the WireTap podcast with your host, Alex and Carlos.
14, man. 14, episode 14. I think we celebrate at 25, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, just a personal, a small like achievement award for us, right?
Yeah, man. What's
Once
going
we
on,
get there.
Alex? I see some wine to your right, man. It must be a good night, bro.
Hey, I mean, sometimes you just got to take a little sip here and there.
Just a little celebration. It sounds,
Nah,
sounds
I
like you got
just
a little celebration going on of yourself today on episode 14, man.
I just celebrated early. I know, like it's just
It's the
they
weekend
pop
and
about
el
it.
cuerpo lo sabe. Is that the way it works?
Dude, we just it's intense work these last 2 weeks. Actually,
Yeah,
I've
man.
been staying up to like midnight just trying to get this one proposal out, and
Jeez.
it's been tough. Yeah, but it'll be well worth it if we end up closing the deal.
Hey, man, that's what it's all about. It's hard work. Those of you that are listening, keep that in mind. Listen to that. It's not easy. It's not something that goes and happens overnight. It's not like you see it on Instagram. It's not like you see it on TikTok. It takes hard work. It takes late nights. It takes sacrifice. You can't get to the top overnight, if you ask me, man.
You
That's
know.
that's certainly something we got to keep in mind. But hey, man, speaking of the week, not the weekend, but the week, bro. What is you see what's going on in Minnesota with this Derek Chauvin case and the whole George Floyd piece, man? Have you been keeping up with
Yeah, I
that,
mean
Alex?
it's I have been keeping that in the background. Haven't been able to focus. Like I said, it's been a very intense week for me, where a lot of hours been put in. But I have been paying attention just because it's a big case, and obviously the outcome was
Pivotal,
bottom
for
line.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
spoiler alert. If you don't know, he was found guilty, right?
that's right.
And
That's right.
the outcome, if he wasn't found guilty, I think there would have been protests and things would have got super crazy if the outcome was different. Because this case, I mean, not I don't want to say it was a slam dunk, but
Well, it was a nice
the
little layup. I mean, you have to admit it was a nice little layup.
no, and that's what I mean, dude. Think
According to
about
the,
it.
and it's only because of the information that was shared, Alex. That's the only
Yeah.
reason, right? It's not like it was made up, right? It's the information of the way they broke it down. I mean, it's incredible, bro.
Well, think about it like this. I watched the video, the full length video, way before all this, when it
Yeah,
happened, and it was
yeah,
being
man.
shared on social media, and they weren't limited the amount. And I watched the whole thing. And normally I always kind of side a little bit with the police because I've been put in situations where I've been pulled over when I was younger many times. And sometimes I had a bunch of cops, because we can talk about story times later about our youth when we were racing and before Fast and the Furious, and now that the movie's coming
Before it
out.
was even popular, man.
Yeah,
Right,
before. So when we were super excited when the movie come out, because that's what we were doing,
right,
right? And
right.
I've had cops, 4 or 5 cops, draw guns on me, and they just acted cool. I did what I had to do and kept safe. So sometimes I do side with the police and be like, well, let's look at all the angles. But when I was watching this video, like it
Man.
made me really like my stomach. It made me kind of sick because this guy really didn't show no restraint at that point. Not enough to hold them down for 9 minutes
No,
like that.
no, not at all, man.
So
Not at all.
to me, it was a slam dunk once all the evidence came out because he broke policy, right? And that's what the main case was around, was like, dude, once he was unresponsive, you didn't provide his CPR or
Yeah.
first respond measures.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it was basically analyzing and reviewing within the things that you are allowed to do, right? If this happens, here's what you do, and that's where policy was broken, right? And that's
Yeah.
why you've got those three specific charges: what second degree unintentional murder, third degree murder, and second degree manslaughter. I mean, guilty on all counts, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
I mean, this guy is in a
You know,
way
they were
I
saying he showed no remorse throughout the whole
yeah.
time. You know that?
You know what? In a way, I kind of feel bad because
Of
one,
course you do.
in one, I feel bad because he didn't show no remorse. Two, because this guy's life was changed because he chose to make a mistake that cost him dearly. Now he's gonna go to jail,
Yeah,
right?
man.
He is a cop in jail, and
Oh,
not only that, dude, he
cuckoo.
he's and he's a
Wait,
guy that. the guy that basically murdered this African American, person. So I feel bad for the guy because one, he's a cop, he's going to jail. Second, he's a
And
guy
he's
that
probably going to
murdered
be
the
put in general population. I
yeah,
mean,
and he's a guy
unless
who
they
murdered an
unless they put
African
him in
American.
solitary, right, to protect him.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
obviously he's gonna side really quick with the side, maybe white supremacists that are part of that prison culture. They're gonna try to protect them, right? Or maybe he's a cop, so who knows, right? If they accept them, so it's gonna be very interesting for him, down in when he's in penitentiary or when he's in general population, because I think they're gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen.
You know what was really crazy to me, Alex, and I know we can't talk too much about this because this is old news, right? Old news,
Mhm.
meaning the verdict is done, the verdict is in, and people are getting justice, right? Specifically, the family. I'm not talking about everyone on the outside. I'm talking about the family is getting justice. But one of the things that I
Yeah, I
found
think the
interesting
resolution
is,
for them
yeah,
is like
yeah,
justice was served today.
yeah, no, absolutely. What throws me off, Alex, is the fact that he would not testify at his own murder trial. And he
Yeah,
decided to invoke the Fifth Amendment, use that privilege, and not risk making any self-incriminating statements. Now, this is probably, the lawyers probably said, look, you probably don't want to speak, stay out of this, because what has probably happened is he has told his story to those lawyers, right? And the
yeah,
lawyers
it
have
didn't look
found
good.
ways of poking holes into it. And they're thinking, if he gets up on the stand and he
We're
goes by
done.
cop code, right? Because that's usually what is going on, right? That cop code. If he goes off of cop code, it's going to be a slam dunk in certain ways for the opposing party. So I'm telling you, man,
Let
I
me add
found
this,
that kind of
Carlos.
interesting.
Let me add this other thing. What I what this case also does,
Let me say
because
one thing. Let me say one thing. One
now
one thing. Good.
listen.
Slurring your words, bro. You're slurring your words.
Now let me say one thing though. What I like about this case,
Your
or
face is
one,
red, bro. Your face is red right now.
hey, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Let me be me. But what I like is that basically it does put the police in check, and it makes them say like, dude, if you do something that is completely out of the norm, you will get busted for it, and
It's
you
on
could
you.
potentially go to jail.
Yeah, man.
So
Listen, I'm right there. I'm look, this is a pivotal moment in our country, man. The way everyone is watching this trial, the way cops are now going to react. I don't know if you've noticed the past couple of days. I know you've been busy, man, but the past couple of days, bro, have you seen there's some more, there have been more police killings and police brutality things happening. Just various situations. I can think of two already that just really don't make any sense. And you would think cop code would say, hey, let me step back on
let me
this, right?
settle down. But
What
you know
just
what?
happened here, right?
I mean, we also have those
And what
shootings
made
at
this and
FedEx.
what yeah, yeah, yeah. And what closed
I
this
mean,
case, bro, was another police officer testifying saying, yeah, he took advantage of the situation and certainly did not comply and do what he was supposed to do.
and I think
Talk right there.
the jury was very mixed, right?
It was for
So
sure.
I believe that that actually played a role where justice could be served and not be protected because these are law enforcement. And if, dude, it doesn't matter if you're a judge or whatever you are, if you break the law like that,
You break the law.
we all should get punished here, because you know what? They're not gonna take it lean on us if we break the law like that.
Oh, of course not, man. Of course not.
So, anyways,
And
Carlos, that's the story. We will probably develop more. We'll see what happens because they're gonna try to give them the max, or maybe even ask above the max.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
we'll see what happens.
In the next couple of weeks, I think is what, 10 weeks. They're giving it 10 weeks to go all in on it. I believe that's the case. But
Yep.
and this will lead us kind of, when this kind of situation happens, even though this police officer, this ex Minneapolis police officer, is going to jail, bro, at the end of the day, if he would have just lost his job, that we've seen in other situations, right, where they just lose their job, this kind of leads to the next topic, man. Hypothetically speaking, Alex, this is going to be interesting. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but I have. But hypothetically speaking, if you were homeless, if you were in a situation where you just lost everything, right, and you ended up homeless, have you ever thought about?
So let
Have you
me
ever
ask you
thought
a
about like what
question.
you would do if you were homeless?
So am I homeless just recently, or am I been homeless for like maybe let's just say I've been homeless for a year?
You just started. You just are in this situation, and this fellow, man.
No, no, no,
Bro, that wine I can tell is hitting you right now, dog.
no, no. It's
That
not. It's not.
body,
I'm saying
listen, that body mass index on you is kind of low right
no.
now.
So hypothetically speaking, go ahead, rewind it.
That blood alcohol level is high right now.
Now
So
go.
hypothetically speaking, if you were homeless today, tomorrow, 6 a.m., how would you plan your day out? Like, what would you do? Have you ever thought about? I know
Okay.
I have. I've thought
Well,
about
hold
like,
on. If
I
it's
was ever
next day,
homeless. This is what I would do.
so next day, see, this is interesting question because if I was homeless tomorrow,
Yeah.
maybe it'd be different because I'm in a situation where I'm at now, right? But or I have a different plan. But now let's just say if I was homeless for like a year, I
Like you
was
don't have
already
any
homeless.
contacts. You don't. You're in a city
Yeah,
where
that's what I'm
nobody
saying. Okay,
knows
let's just
you. You've
pretend I'm
just been
homeless for a
dropped
year.
off, type of flow.
Okay, so I will get up. Obviously, we know that there's homeless shelters. I would try to go in there, try to get a meal, and then walk out of the place, go to the park, sit in the bench for a little bit until I see people starting to move around the day. Pick the hottest intersection and put like I'm homeless. Give
Oh
me some
man.
money,
Okay.
or
Okay.
I'll wash your car. Right?
Uh
It's like
huh.
I can
Uh huh.
wash cars.
Uh huh.
Um, I'll come to your house. Take your car. Go wash it. I don't know. I don't know, bro. What do you think?
Bro, you you just took you just took somebody's ride, dog.
Oh my! Now that I think about it, it ain't gonna work out. I think
You know? Bro, your blood alcohol level is through the roof right now, man. I'm telling you, you just stole somebody's car. You going to jail. I'm talking about surviving as a homeless person, man. You're not surviving. You're not thriving, man. Right now, you
okay.
are just locked up.
Oh man, I got tears. That
Just,
was so funny.
you just took somebody's ride, man. You washed their car, and
I
then
will
you
go find a bridge, find other homeless, and say, "How do I do it?" I
look.
don't
This
know,
isn't
Carlos. I
funny, man.
never, I
This is
never really
not
thought
designed to be
about it.
funny. This is just to say, hey, hypothetically speaking, if you were homeless, what would take place? And you would go to another homeless person and say, "What would
I
you do?
don't think I would do
Hey
good
man,
in that
I can't drive
environment.
out here. How you doing this? I
I
can't.
don't think I would do good in that environment. I'm sorry.
I don't think so either, bro. I
But
don't. I don't
anyways,
think
let me.
you're gonna
You
survive."
actually have a plan, so we're curious to know what's your plan. So give me your plan. Give me your plan, bro.
Ooh, man, that's great. All right. So I thought about this. Listen, I've always thought about this. Like, I always thought to myself, man, if I was homeless, what would I do? Would I be a go getter? Like, because, usually the homeless population, and this isn't funny, man. I've worked with the homeless population for years. The homeless population usually has a medical condition, right? There's something there that's psychological. There's something there that is mostly affecting the mind, which controls everything else. But I thought to myself, if I was in a good state, if I was in the right state of mind, right, which is kind of strange considering all the research that's out there, but if I was in the right state of mind and I became homeless, right off the bat, I lost everything, bro. House, cars, like, of course I would have no family, right? So at this situation, I've thought to myself, first of all, if it's cold, I've learned that I need to go to a laundromat. Check this out. Like,
Hmm.
I actually have a plan, bro. Like,
Yeah,
I would
because of
go
the
to
ventilation, right? All the
exactly
hot
because of
thing,
the
and
exhaust, right? Because of the
yeah, yeah, for
exhaust
sure.
that's coming out of their fans, the outside. I'd find a spot, man. First of all, I got to find out, I got to figure out where I'm going to sleep. So if anything, I'm going to find a spot near a laundromat, right? Like right behind the laundromat where the exhaust is. You ever walk behind a laundromat where the exhaust is, Alex?
Yeah, and yeah,
Bro,
nice and warm.
nice and warm, man. Nice and warm. So first I do that, but and
Hmm.
then I have to find an alternate because I'm sure someone's gonna call the cops. I'm sure I'm gonna get kicked out. So then I'd find a shelter, right? I would be watching
Yep,
and calling a
shelter.
shelter every day, like try to figure out what shelter is open. Then what I would figure out is I gotta plan my meals, right? I gotta eat breakfast, lunch, and
Hmm.
dinner. More than likely, the place that I'm staying, if it's a shelter, I'm gonna get breakfast and
They're
dinner.
gonna feed you.
I got to figure out lunch, right? I got to figure out lunch. So lunch, I'm going to find the nearest soup kitchen that's serving lunches or a church or wherever and figure out within my vicinity, wherever I'm at least 3 to 5 miles, because I got to walk every day, right? Within 3 to 5 miles where I'm going to eat lunch and what I'm going to eat for lunch, right? I'm telling you, man, I've thought this through. This is crazy. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then
Keep going
in order,
quickly.
I need clothes, right? I need clothes. I got to sleep in something. I got to put something on every day, but I can't be lugging it around. So I have to be very strategic as to what I'm going to wear on certain days. So I would volunteer. Check this out. I probably would volunteer at a thrift store. I'd volunteer at a thrift store and say, look, you ain't got to pay me. I'd work as
Mm,
hard as I could just to get a couple outfits, right? At least 3 to 4
okay.
outfits to put in a rolling suitcase that I can roll myself around town with. Check that out, right? So
Yeah.
I've got
Hmm.
my food covered, I've got my housing covered, I've got my clothes on my back because the next thing I got to figure out is I got to find a place where I can work, man, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a place that will say to me, look, usually hotels, right? They're struggling with those third shifts jobs, where, they need somebody to just watch the front, just be in the
Hmm.
front lobby as people are checking in. And what they would do is that I would ask for an exchange, meaning that you don't even have to pay me, just provide a place that I can sleep at night, gets me out of the shelter. I can still use my locations, right? My destinations to eat my meals. However, now I'm sleeping by myself. I'm able to take a shower every day, and I slowly begin to collect clothes during the day, right? Because I'm able to wash now. I'm able to change every day. So I begin to take on a phase that is almost a normal phase, right? And then last but not least, the last two is I'd probably figure out a way to get a bike. I'm probably not going to steal a bike. I'm probably going to find a way to acquire a bike through maybe a Goodwill, a thrift store, something along those lines where I can get something that I can just ride around town,
So,
right?
so you don't want to see one just laying around in the park and just take it.
No, 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 because then I could jeopardize my freedom,
Yeah, correct. You can go
right?
to jail for stealing
Yeah,
the
and I
bike.
don't
I
have
got you.
money to spray paint it, like we did back in the day when you would take bikes
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we'd
I
have to spray
understand.
paint them so the kids in the neighborhood wouldn't figure out that that was theirs unless they scraped that spray paint off. So then I'd get me a bike. Then last but not least, I'd create a plan internally to find a way to get back on my feet and to get an apartment, right? Figure out a job that will pay me, even if it's minimum wage, but also find an apartment that could keep up with my expenses and my income. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I mean, I love that you have this plan because I would just resort back to the like a taken. I developed an amazing set of skills, and I
Right?
would try to use those to my advantage, like you said, like go hunting for a job and everything.
Yeah,
Man,
like
I
you,
love
you
it. I
would
love
just,
it.
you would just hold a sign that says help.
No, no, no. Actually, I just said it out there. I
Whoa!
was just,
It's
but
just a sign that says whoa.
I didn't think about it. But man, you laid out a plan, amazing plan. I would almost copy exact same thing,
You would,
except
you would.
hey, you got an amazing plan. Why wouldn't I do the same thing? You know what I'm saying? It makes perfect sense. So I would do the same thing. But go ahead, finish your last
No,
thing
that's
there.
it,
And
man.
then,
That is my last.
yeah,
That is my
no,
thing.
no.
I
So
create
I
a, I
would
find a
copy
way
the
to get a
exact same
job.
thing,
Yeah.
and then I would go to
What
different
would you
places.
shift?
Actually, I would instead of trying to go get the thrift store job, I would try to go to
Remember, I'm
like
just exchanging my labor for clothes,
I
not
understand
as a
that, but I
job.
would try to go get a job like at a Pizza Hut or at a food restaurant and be like, dude, I'll take any shift or like a McDonald's, right? The third
Yeah.
shift. Just hey, just hire me. I'm ready to go. I'm work. They're probably gonna give me a shirt, a couple
Mm,
shirts, right?
mhm,
So I just
mhm.
got to worry about my pants and just make
That's a
sure I
good
kind
point.
of keep them a little bit clean, or they may end up giving me black pants. I don't know. They give me a hat, so I just try to keep
I
it
need a
clean.
hat. I need a hat.
Yeah, you're right. Try to keep it clean, and then what I would do is well, I'm already working, getting paid a little bit of money, and plus I'm pretty sure I can steal a Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm,
can get a Big Mac. So now
gotcha.
it's just
You would steal a Big Mac though?
well, I mean, I would just tell them, and I'm pretty sure working at those restaurants back in the days, I used to work at Pizza Hut, so I know they food is you just throw something in there and you just eat it, right? Nobody says nothing.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
I'm taking that into account that I'm gonna go
Mm,
in there, I'm gonna make me a Big Mac, eat it, and then before I leave, I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna take this burger and just take me a snack for the morning because my shift doesn't start till the third shift, right? So I
gotcha.
gotta have something in the morning.
So
So I
what
would
would
take
you
that
take?
Big Mac.
What would you take? What would you take? A
I
Big
would
Mac
just
for
take
breakfast?
like a Big Mac or maybe
Mm,
take something else or try to get something or if I get just enough to get me to my first paycheck. Then after I get my
yeah.
first paycheck, then I could buy me a breakfast and breakfast thing. And then, but
Move
in the
up to some
daytime,
hotcakes and sausage, you mean?
yeah. But then in the day, I was almost trying to do the same thing. Try to go like live in exchange to try to go to a shelter, see if I can rent a place. Sometimes they'll work with you and it's like I'm trying to, but I'm not there. Can you just help out? And maybe I just need them to help me out for 3 months until I get really land another job or something. But great ideas, man. I would just copy you.
You would just
Seems
copy me.
yeah, it seems like a great solid plan.
But
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 you
you gotta
know,
have a plan, right? You gotta have a plan. If
I
if,
love
if
it. I
in
love it.
anything that you do, man, you gotta have a
Talking
plan.
about
And these are skills, right? These are skills.
talking about plans and skills leads us to our next topic, which is
Nice.
networking,
Nice. Look at
right?
that bridge.
So
Look at that
the
bridge, ladies and gentlemen. That is he is under the influence, but he made a creative bridge. I'm proud of you right now, Alex.
listen, I'm not under the influence. I only had like one glass. I don't know why you keep saying that. I only had like one or two glasses of wine,
One or
but
two, I can't remember.
the network philosophy and how to right.
Oh,
That's our
networking.
next
Yeah,
topic.
man. Yeah, man.
So networking is, I think this is crucial, Carlos, and you have a lot of experience when it comes to networking, just from the nature of what you do, and also from the nature that I do is connecting with people and the importance of outreaching and having your portfolio where people can find you, right?
Right, right. So Forbes put out a recent article that talks about the 8 creative ways or the 8 right ways, which are basically tips that you should use when you network, right? And the first one is, which is kind of interesting that they start off with this one. I found it kind of incredibly interesting. Is and this comes from I believe it is coming from a book called The Millennial Game Plan, but the first tip they say is forget your personal agenda, which is interesting because when you network, you've got an agenda, right? You've got a goal, you've got an
Wait.
objective.
I thought the first one was start networking before you even need it.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, if you
Okay,
think
well,
about it, yeah,
hold on,
yes,
let's
it
just go.
is. It
Okay,
is.
so technically, start working before you need it. Have a
Uh-huh.
plan,
Have a plan.
right, and then it leads us right into yours. So now it leads us into forget your
So
personal
it's
agenda.
exactly. So the reason I didn't jump into the first two is because they're not really tangible, right? Like there's not really, okay, start networking before you really need it. Okay, duh, right? Have a plan. Well, duh. Like
Yeah,
those
that's what
things
we're
make
working on. Yeah.
sense, right? We're doing that. So the reason I wanted to view this as the first one is it's very interesting that they say forget your personal agenda. Again, I go back to what I just said of listen, when you network, you've got an agenda, right? Your outcome, you know what your outcome needs to be, and you know what your goal and objectives need to take place, how they need to do it, what you need to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So forget your personal agenda. They say what you need to do is just be open, be
Be
friendly,
open.
honest,
Yep.
be your own self, right? The generosity is an attractive quality, meaning be generous into who you are, and people will remember you by just being you. Don't say, "Hi, my name is Carlos, and I'm looking for someone that could help me do my marketing." Right? Okay, that's your agenda right off the bat. How about they just get to know who you are? Because maybe at the end of the day, they may want to know that. That may be more important for somebody around the circle, right? For somebody in that networking opportunity to say, do I really want to work with this guy? I want to know who he is, first of all, right? So tell us, what
Yeah,
do you
for
do?
sure.
Like, what are some of the things you do on the weekend? What brought you here, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought that was interesting that they put
But
this as one of the 8 tips. Don't you think, Alex?
no, 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 that's very important. And leading up to our next one, which would be never dismiss anyone as unimportant. And
Right.
you know what, dude? This is a very important one because how many times have you been and you're talking about something on a job or you're on a project and you're walking and then suddenly someone comes in and you start talking to him and he's like and you actually, because you've been raised to be respectful, you carry the conversation and you be like, oh, this and that and everything, and then later on that person leaves and then someone approaches you and be like, do you know who you were talking to? That's the CEO of the company, or that's the president of this,
Right.
or
Right.
this, or
Right.
this guy is this, or this guy is the son's owner of this, and you're like, dang.
You just missed out on
Luckily,
opportunity because you dismissed
no,
it. If you
no,
did.
no, no. If you did that, or if you were
Yeah.
respectful and you carry yourself and you got that, it was like maybe it gives you the chance to later connect. It's like, oh yeah, I remember them, and it leaves a good impression
Yep.
on that person. It
That's
was
right.
like, oh yeah, I remember when I was talking to Alex. Oh yeah, I remember when I was talking to Carlos. Because later on you may need them, but if you dismiss them as unimportant, it could have different consequences of your growth, right?
Oh, absolutely. Negative impact all day long.
So,
But that specific piece kind of leads into the other one of connecting the dots. So you
mhm.
don't want to dismiss anyone who, you think is unimportant, or you just dismiss them because of what they said, what they were wearing, what they looked like, how they came across. But one of the other parts that they talk about in these 8 tips is that you be the one that also connects the dots, right?
Mhm.
Be the one that says, oh, wait a minute, you're looking for this type of individual. I just had a conversation with Dan back there, and I want to connect you. I think you and Dan should talk because you guys sound like you could really help. And what you have done at that point is you facilitated a relationship, right? You have brought individuals together. Then they're thinking, man, this guy's even bringing people together. And before you know it, what you're doing is you're making connections yourself, but you're also connecting other people. And that's how you build, or what you have just done is built your personal network.
Yeah, correct. And which also leads us to our the following, which is figure out how you can be useful, right? How many times is someone is having if you want to grow your network, right? Someone is having an issue, and if you have the expertise or you have the capabilities to help this person, is jump in. Don't wait till someone reaches out and says like, hey, how can you?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I see that you're having this problem. Let me help you do this. Or I know this person, going back to connecting the dots. I know this person that does this that can help you do this. And right, and it's like, so how, or just coming out and be like, how can I help? Is like just being helpful, is be like, hey, you know what, Alex is super helpful. And also, it's not that someone takes advantage of you
No, of
because you
course not.
come from the right place. You gotta
Right.
you gotta forget, it's like, well, if I'm being helpful, they're just gonna take advantage of me.
Right.
Get that out of your system. Just be you, be open, help out when you can, and learn to say no also, right? Which is not part of this, but learn to say no. eh, or maybe
Or
if
don't
you
overcommit and then under deliver. Yeah.
correct. And also never, and this is, I don't know if this is it in one of our line here, but also don't ever think that you know the answers. You always say like, let me get back to you, let me do some research, and that's how you could be more helpful instead of just thinking that you know the answer without actually doing the research.
That's right. That's right. Well, the last one, well, the one before the last says, follow up and follow through. So many times we say to people, and we just kind of talked about this, you overcommit and say, oh, yeah, I'll call you, or I'll do this on Thursday, or I'll do this on Wednesday. And what happens is you just completely failed on the follow up and the follow through because you overcommitted and now
Hmm.
you've under delivered, right? What you want to do is undercommit and over deliver, right? Because then
Exactly.
as you are networking in those moments when you have follow up and follow through, people are going to remember that, right? Oh man, he did
Mm-hmm.
promise he would do that. Or some people may forget because, the networking was on Thursday and here you are on Monday saying, hey, I just wanted to follow up from our, our Wednesday conversation or Thursday conversation. And I just wanted to just let you know, here's what I found. And I wanted to get back to you. And before you know it, you've established some commonality, right? You've delivered on your promise and you have laid out some common ground. And before you know it, man, again, I go back to you have just built your own network or you have just added to your network by following up and following through, Alex.
No, dude, and that leads us to the final thing here to conclude with that is believe in the power of networking. Networking is very important for any particular job, especially if you're trying to grow in your particular field or networking to get another position or networking for whatever reason is the power of networking can actually help you. And we talked about it, right? Because I have a big network connection, but I also am not on LinkedIn, right? And,
Right.
and and that's something that I've been procrastinating and I need to jump on because it's the power of networking that can lead you to potentially another opportunity down the road at a further scale than what you're at now. So if I would encourage everybody is like I need to jump on that. I think our listeners need to jump on that and just expand their networking.
And when you I listen, I want to I want to piggyback on what Alex said and say to you those that are listening, you cannot forget the power of networking because I believe that in those networking opportunities, in those networking moments, it really does lead to success, right? It leads
Mm-hmm.
to a potential closing of a deal, a proposed deal. You just never know what could come out of networking opportunities, which again, in a way, if we could bridge this, this kind of also leads into the 7 rules of success. Alex, I believe
Correct. You're talking
we're on
about
our what
success. Yeah, for
third
sure.
week. We're on our third week on it.
Yeah, we're in our third week. I was gonna butcher my word there, but third week and is choose possibilities, not problems.
You got a story with that, Alex?
About what? I do have a story, but let's just go with the philosophy first, Carlos here, and then we'll go with the story.
Man, I really wish somebody would just take your alcohol level right now because this.
Dude, what are you talking about? It's
Oh man, I can totally
I'm on
tell.
my second glass of wine.
I'm on my second glass and I'm moving to a third.
Now listen, hey,
So the third piece of the 7 rules of success is, as Alex has said, choose possibilities, not problems. And what it's encouraging to do is look, don't focus on the negative, right? Don't focus on a negative, focus on the positive. With personal power that you possess, there's a deep belief that there are available solutions for what you've got going on, right? If you approach challenges with a solution focused, a solution based perspective, it's going to engage that creative process that you've got, right? That creative juice of examining, laying something out, designing it, and executing. Because what you've done is you've gotten yourself out of some. Alex, you all right, man?
yeah, dude,
Bro, this
I'm
is this
listening.
is a really different this is a really different you tonight, man.
No,
And
listen. No, I don't know why you even pulled it out. I just went like this to do something to my
I don't
computer
know
because
what
I
you're doing,
noticed.
man.
But listen,
So
no. Just to piggyback off this, it's very important because I have a running joke with my wife, and basically I told you, you have problems, I have solutions. So
yeah,
it
it's good.
leads into
It's
this
good, Alex.
perfectly
You
thing.
are you are a problem solver, my friend.
So it leads up to this. It's like, hey, you got a problem, I got a solution. But also, if you can't find a solution, you got to be open to the thought of others having that solution,
Oh
right?
man, you gotta look for help. Absolutely.
Correct. Ask for suggestions. When I don't know something, dude, what I say, I always tell this in even at work today, is like I never commit to anything. Like as
Mhm.
far as like, or like if I don't know, if I know my answers and I got everything locked down, I commit. But if I don't, let me get back to you and let me find out, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't want to mislead anybody, but I also want to make sure I bring the right information. So I lean on others to help me out so I can give the right answers to whatever question it is. And that's what I love about this and what they're projecting because If you don't have the solution, ask for help.
That's right.
But if people have problems and you're the solution, offer the solution.
Absolutely, and I believe in, and this is something that the article also says, Alex, that solution focus minds, they reward and they inspire each other. When solutions are the focus, you learn to fail, and not only do you learn to fail, but you learn to adapt, and it moves you away. From the fixing and failing approach, right? It you go back to what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Your mind is stuck, right? It is stuck on solution based, on the cup being half full. That negativity, that I don't know moment disappears, because what you're doing is, honestly, you are trying to find a way to get out of this problem. So, kind of like what we just talked about. If you were homeless, right? What would that look like? What would you do? How would you make,
And
lemonade
look,
from the lemons that you just got, right?
and if you made the wrong lemonade, don't dwell on making the wrong lemonade. Just learn from that process and then next time try again, right? It's a solution. It's a solution. If you mess up on the solution, pick up your feet and try it again, and you'll end up eventually getting to the right answer. So don't be afraid of failure.
Exactly, exactly. And that's, I think that's why we run away from success, or we
I don't know
don't
why you're
see
looking so funny,
clearly.
like I'm gonna go in the wrong direction there.
Man,
It's
I,
like you
I
can
have
be
no
like,
idea where you're going
dude,
today.
I'm just
I'm
pivoting and
fine.
pushing things through, bro. It's like I'm wicking and moving. I'm doing these moves.
Yeah, man. You go right ahead and you
You
move
you
on
do
right
your
there.
funny face, but I'm just spitting facts here, bro. Listen,
So
Carlos,
oh, here we go. Go ahead. Yeah,
talking about
speaking of
facts.
facts. Yeah, speaking of facts.
Don't you like to smell good?
Man, I love smelling
Do you
good.
love to just get to your woman and just smell her and just be like, you smell good, girl.
Well, sometimes it's not even your woman, right? Sometimes you could just be walking and all of a sudden a smell hits you, right?
You're like,
And you're like,
what
whoa,
is that?
what was that? And you don't
You
want
get
to go up
that?
to that individual or that female, right? Or even a guy for that, and say, hey, what are you wearing, right? I think it's more inviting for a guy to say, hey, man, what are you wearing there? Yeah, I think it's different, right? You find that man moment, right? That bro, hey, bro, what are you wearing, man? That's good, man. That smells good. What is that? Right? Versus a
That's
lady,
right.
how are you doing, ma'am? I just was curious. I was walking alongside you, and I happened to catch a whiff of your perfume. That's just awkward, right? You just kind of, it's a little awkward. So what we have done,
And
folks, is we have actually nailed down. Each of us have put together a list of our top three men's choice cologne and our choice for ladies perfume. Is
well,
that
that's your choice. That's your choices that you got there. But I got my own choices here, Carlos.
yeah?
But for women, I love and I brought a little show and tell. I
Mm,
got
the
little
cocoa. You got the cocoa.
Chanel, Coco Chanel, right? I love when my woman has
She
this
like
on.
cocoa. Uh huh.
Coco, Miss Dior right here, right? I don't know
Oh,
if the
yep,
camera
yep.
catches it, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
Miss Dior.
rose and roses. Smells
Mm,
delicious,
yes.
right?
Smells like pie.
I don't have it.
Doesn't it
I
smell
don't
like
have
pie to
it,
you?
dude. I like it. I like nice. It smells.
It's
It
good.
smells good.
That's good,
It
Alex.
smells
It's good,
good.
Alex.
I like Rihanna's the Rebel one. I think she's out, but it's also got a nice smooth smell to it. For men,
Not too
I'm
tangy.
gonna I'm gonna show the blue
Yep.
Chanel.
Uh huh. Uh
uh,
huh.
One of my favorites. You can tell I need a refill. I don't know if this shows it, but definitely I need that. I like the Gucci guilt
Oh, you like the
guilty. I'm
guilt.
sorry.
Yeah, you like the guilt. Yeah, the guilty pleasure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The guilty pleasure.
Uh huh.
I
Uh
like
huh.
here's Versace. Versace.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. The blue
This one
bottle.
is
You got the
the blue
Versace
bottle.
blue there. I see that. Yeah.
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 And then right here Dior.
Oh, you're Sauvage.
Savage.
Sauvage from
Savage.
Dior.
Nice.
Like that
And they
commercial.
gave me this little
From
sample, which
Dior.
I kind of I like it. It's very
What is that?
subtle. Is the Hermes Hermes?
What? Let me see that. Oh, Hermes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just saying the Spanish version, but yes, you got it, Carlos.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, thank you.
it's
I get
very
it in.
it's very subtle. It smells
Where'd you get
good.
that?
This is
Where'd you get that sample, man? That's a big
so
sample right there, bro.
I know a personal like teller that works for Canali and all those other ones. He's like, oh, I got some. Why don't you? He gave me a shot just to try it out.
Get me a shot of that. I have not smelled that, by the way. They're amazing.
Well, here,
Yeah, that's not gonna work out.
no, but I don't have a spare bottle. This is just they gave it to me as a hookup. I don't know if I can get you one,
Listen,
but
that's a
uh,
big hookup right there, man. That's a plug right there. That does not look like a
yeah.
sample. That looks like an actual bottle you purchased,
Well,
man.
no, but it's good. It's so go ahead, give me yours.
Send the plug, man. Well, for ladies, man, I listen. I like the smell, but I gave it to my mom a couple years ago, and I've continued to keep giving it to her. Is J'adore by Dior. It's got a fancy looking bottle, right? I
Look at
gave
this
it to my
smells so
mom.
good,
So
Carlos.
weird, right? Hey, mom, got you some perfume. No. But seriously, I gave her J'adore by Dior. I really
Yeah,
like the smell of the one you just showed me, the Coco Chanel.
yeah.
And this is an oldie but a goodie. But I've always liked the smell of the Clinique Happy, man. You ever smelled that?
No,
They've
sir.
got a whole Happy line, and the ladies' perfume is just it's just perfect, man. That would be me. Now for the gentleman, I have a little bit of I'm not on the Gucci, or that's what I'm saying. I haven't tried the Hermes. I haven't
Well,
smelled it.
this one is very subtle, dude. Is it's like I wish you guys can get it through the camera, but it's very
Some
subtle.
of our listeners may have it, man. I don't know.
It speaks like I smell like I'm a professional. It smells like you're a salesman, someone that you want to
Mm,
attract the
mm,
ladies. Get this
mm.
one. This one is very
Yeah,
good. But
salesman.
like I said, my favorite
Nothing
one,
says salesman like guilt,
salesman,
like
like
Gucci.
guilty. Yeah, like guilty Gucci. And stop making fun of me. But I promise you guys, I
Ah.
drink with moderation. I hardly ever drink. So this is like
This is why I think
the
it's
first.
hilarious. Yeah. No,
But
this is,
no, but it's my second little. But the blue, Carlos, absolutely favorite. I love
yeah.
this one.
Oh, you like the Chanel blue?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. Along with these, the Sauvage is
Yeah.
my least favorite one.
I
It's too
didn't like the
strong for my.
Sauvage, man. I didn't
It's
like
too
it.
strong for my taste. My wife likes it, so you know what? At night, if I'm gonna go to sleep and then try to get some, you just put it in here, right?
Why don't you just spray it on her pillow, bro? Just spray it on her pillow.
Just spray it on his pillow and pretend it's me. But she's not gonna
For
like that I said that, but it's okay, guys. Let's keep
you,
going.
I can't remember, but now for the guys, one of the things that I used to always go to is, I think you had it at one point, Alex, was the Armani Gio. Do you remember that one?
Ooh, Armani. Yeah, Armani's is
Yeah, the
good
Armani,
too.
that was a smooth. It's listen, that has not gone away. The Armani Gio has probably been around for at least 15, 17 years, man. To be quite honest with you, I don't think that thing has ever disappeared off of the Armani line.
Carlos, what do
It
you
was
think
such a hit.
about? My brother once told me this just recently, dude.
Yeah,
That if a woman buys you a cologne, that's because she smelled it on another man. Now you could take that as like, was it her ex? Was it another man in her life?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
maybe just like you said, she passed by some man that smelled
Random
really good.
dude. Yeah, yeah,
She's like, "Ooh, that smells good. What do you have on there?" And then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy it from a man," because she wanted to have that smell on
yeah.
you
That
and be like, "Ooh,
fragrance.
correct." So I don't know. It's a toss up. I don't think I would mind. I don't know if you would mind.
I don't think I would mind that. Listen, my insecurities, or the level of my insecurities, are nowhere near that low.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'm the same.
I'm a pretty confident dude.
A
I
little
know what
cocky dude.
I know, right? I'm a little. I know what I got. I know what I have. I know who I am, and I don't know that if I would take it that way, I would actually take it
I
as
was gonna say something
well. Before
inappropriate, but I'm
I'm
gonna move
glad you
on.
didn't, because you probably got a high blood alcohol levels. So Gio by Armani is one of my first ones. The second one is, I don't know if you ever smelled Brooks Brothers, man. Brooks Brothers, the red label Brooks
Red
Brothers.
label. It sounds important.
Clean, man. It's very important. Very
Sounds
clean. Nice
important.
little meeting type of spray. It doesn't go away. It lingers. And I think that's where I struggle with certain colognes, right? You buy expensive colognes and you spray and you're like, man, where did it go, right? Where is this smell? Versus others that are not so expensive that really tend to linger. You can get that jupe. Uh,
What's
that Michael
what's your
Jordan juke, man.
nah, the Michael sauce.
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 But last but not least is the Emergilio Zegna. That is, to me, I have used
Say it again. Say
Emergilio
it again. That sounded so like good.
Emergilio Zegna.
Wow,
Emergilio
sounds
Zegna.
exotic.
It is exotic, man. It's as exotic as I am.
It,
The
it sounds expensive. How much is that?
Emergilio Zegna is just a
Dude,
fantastic
you even
clone, man.
sound culture when you say it.
Oh, it's
I love it. I
fantastic.
love it. I love it,
Fantastic,
dude.
man. It is. It's something. Listen, I'll tell you this, man. I probably use Imagilios. Probably, I'd say at least going on 10 years, man. They've have upgraded some bottles, but my favorite is the one with the ridges. I believe it's called the Emergilo Zegna the Ridges, right?
The ridges. I'm gonna
Yeah, man.
Google it
It's
really
it's
quick. I mean, it was,
fantastic, fantastic.
yeah. Oh, it
Uh,
is a little. Well, it depends on
it's a
which one
little
you get.
pricey,
There is bottles that are pricey, and there's just bottles that are affordable. So I guess it just really depends on the smell that you're trying to go for. I think
exactly.
every guy is I don't know.
The
I like
bergamon. Listen, the
I like
bergamon is good.
I like subtle
B as in boy, bergamon.
smells. Bergamo. I like it's dude. That sounded so bad. Um,
Bro,
uh,
I'm serious. That's what it's called. The Zegna, Emergilio Zegna bergamon.
yeah, that sounds so bad in the Spanish word. But anyways, I'm not even gonna go there. I, it's it depends on the smell, right? Some guys like strong smells, some guys like subtle. I like subtle smells, so to each his own. But Carlos, I'm very interested in this next topic because I have not been able to do any research,
Yeah,
and
man.
I'm hoping that you can lead the charge on this one.
Yeah,
And
man.
is so Biden, um, or actually I don't even know if it's Biden, but the capital gains 39.6 versus 20 base. I've been hearing a lot of rumbles out there in in the market. Cryptocurrency has been going up, it has been going down.
Oh man, they've
it's
taken a
it's a
hit.
roller coaster. So just hold on to your seat because it's gonna be a bumpy ride.
It's gonna be a horrible. It's not gonna be a bumpy ride. It's a horrible ride right now, man. When it comes to the crypto market and cryptocurrency, I was just reading I believe it was a Monty Fool. I believe
But
it was a Monty Fool article talking
li-
about cryptocurrency because and I don't know if you're I know you're aware of this, Alex, but right now Bitcoin is trading at 49.5. Did you know their highest was 64.8? And
yes,
today it took an incredible hit because the Biden administration is proposing that there should be a capital gains tax rate of 39.6, right? There is a
how are they gonna
baseline of
regulate that, bro? Like how
they're
it's like
gonna listen. I think we're not far from it, man. And what he's trying to do, check this out. What he's trying to do is tax the rich, right? Tax the wealthy. Right now, there's a 20% baseline on equities, anything securities, anything on fixed income, anything on just stocks in general. It is a 20% baseline capital gains tax, right? When you buy a stock and you sell a stock, 20% of it, right off the bat you're going to lose in capital gains. So the Biden administration is proposing that we take that 20%, raise it by 39.6, right? And what he intends to do is addressing inequality, right? And putting more money, right? And again, putting more money in those that are on lower income. And, the rich is really saying, go ahead, do it. The wealthy is saying, you go right ahead. But this hurts an investor who is just starting off, right? An investor who isn't a
it.
millionaire, right?
Yeah,
Why am I
if they
going to
capped it at a
invest?
higher like cap, right? Like say if you're making your portfolios and your portfolio is like underneath half a mil, maybe you shouldn't be taxed so heavy and you should be taxed at the 20 base. And I haven't, and I'm not up to speed on it, but I think if you limit it at 500,000 and below, making 20 a base of capital gains and everybody else higher, Well, yeah, it's gonna hurt a couple people, or maybe you increase it by 10% or something, and then the next tier up after a million, then you can do the 39 point whatever because you're sitting at a better spot. But I think that will hurt the initial investor, the people that we're actually preaching to that jump into the stock market, start investing. I think it'll hurt those people and it hurt us, right? Because we're probably not at the type of level of those portfolios of a million over. So dude, I don't think that's a good idea for the average Joe. They're trying to hurt the average Joe instead of trying to protect us, right?
You know, I'll say this to you, Alex. So if you make, okay, so check this out, and this I'll give you an example. If you earn more than $1 million on your investments, okay, so right off the bat, the new proposal says that there's going to be a new marginal of 39.6. That's going to be the direct margin on any investor, 39.6. But if you average more than $1 million in your investments, your 39.6 goes to 43.4. Okay. So what that does is some of that money, 3.8% of that tax is going to be funded right back into the Affordable Health Care Act, the Obamacare, and it's going to keep it in place. So these additional hikes on these tax rates are actually going to benefit those that really need it versus 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
So
don't know.
so here's my recommendation, right? So some of you are saying, okay, Carlos, so fine. If this goes through, right? If this becomes law, and this capital gains tax goes, for me, for you and I'm not hitting millions yet. So what that means is that I've got to pay now outside of my baseline 39.6 on all my capital gains. Anything that I've made, let me just put that in English, right? If I've made any money, any profit in investments, in securities, in equities, okay, that goes from 20% to 39.6, right?
I'm gonna go in even
So
lamer's terms. So every $100 you make, you're giving 40 to the government.
right off the bat, let's just be
Think
honest.
about that. Think about that. For every $100 that you make, you're gonna get 40 to the government. That's way too much money.
And this is why the crypto market is really struggling right now, because once this came out, people are like, man, I'm dumping this. I'm dumping crypto because I'm going to make all this money, but guess what's going to happen to all this money I'm making? I've just lost an additional 20% on it,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So heavy investors are saying, I'm dumping it. It's not worth it. Let me put it somewhere else. So, what is my encouragement to those of you that are listening? Okay, Carlos, what do I do with this now? This is where I have a strategy, okay? And I don't know
Mm.
if you want to take on this strategy, Alex. I don't know if our listeners want to take on this strategy,
If
but
it's
my
good, I'll copy it just like the other one.
just like the homeless piece,
Exactly.
my
Go.
strategy behind this is understanding finance. Look, I need you, anybody that's listening, if you're going to invest in stocks, you got to know your finances. You got to know your numbers. You got to know the way finance works. So if you understand that and you know where you're moving, this is where I would say to you, it's time that you rebalance your portfolio. Okay. This is where you're going to take these fixed income bonds. So many of us out there are focused on taking maybe our portfolio is 50-50 or 60-40 or 70-30. And we have this conservative mix in our portfolio that we're so heavy, at least 30%. Some of us are so focused on fixed income, right? We're talking bonds here, okay? If you're investing in bonds, especially government bonds, right now, those, because of the interest rates that we've got right now, you're not getting any money back, right? And what you are getting back on, it's very small, number one. And number two, you're going to lose an additional 20% on those gains. So what I would encourage you to do is as I just have said, that you need to rebalance your portfolio, that if you have a 50-50 or a 60-40, I think you need to chip off an additional 10. I think you need to go 70-30 or 80-20, right? 80% in equity, 20% in fixed income, right? Diversification is important, but you got to have the right balance, right? You want to be conservative, but right now, interest rates and where we're trying to bounce back as a country financially, it is not a good idea for us to be so heavy in our portfolio when it comes to fixed income, right? You want to focus on the equities, you want to focus on stocks, and you want to find what kind of dividends are getting paid out, right? You want to know where you can actually take and leverage your portfolio the heaviest and maximize your profitability. Then you can say, well, I had to take an additional 20%. But out of that 20%, you rebalance your portfolio to gain at least some of that back. Does that
And
make
this
sense,
is
Alex?
yeah, no, dude, and and this is one of the things that we don't tend to touch on politics that much because
We lose
our
listeners. Let's
listen
just be real.
our, yeah, our listeners don't really like it, and we appreciate definitely if you stick around this long and know that we do appreciate you listening. Is like this is one of the things that kind of hurts a Trump versus Joe Biden, right? Because Trump is more pro business, is pro more for your wallet. The Republicans tend to be that where we all know Democrats tend to be more social, more take your money out of your pocket and give to everybody else. But and then it comes the humanity issue, right? One is more humane towards everyone, and the other one is a little bit more hard. So this is the dilemma that we have with the left and the right, and unfortunately, because of Joe Biden, it's gonna affect the business sector and the capital gains because their philosophy is to take money from the rich and give it to the poor, where in a way we should, but there should be a limit in how we do that, and it should be more talks. Um, when you're trying to stop the small or mid investor from actually pursuing and get financially free or from the rat race, right? They're going in circles and just paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
I don't think it does us any favors. I don't know how I feel about this. I need to do more research on it. But I can tell you right now, Carlos,
This is why the
I don't
market
like
has
it.
been incredibly volatile today. And not just
Yeah.
today. These have been conversations that have been rumors, and now the rumors have turned into some kind of substance. And now this proposal could get passed. It could get passed. There's some things happening on Capitol Hill right now that we talk about. That I don't know if you know this, but DC could become the 51st state, which means that if DC becomes the 51st state here in the next couple of days, if that does happen, that means they get two additional chairs in the Senate. The Democrats do, which means they run the House. Let's just be honest. So
Man.
all of this whole Reinvestment Act, this whole American Jobs Plan. Look, there's good and bad in any administration, right? We could
Correct.
have had, previous administration was all business, focused on money. Let's bring back the U.S. Let's build our economy, but at what cost? What kind of ethics are we going to put down, right? How are we going to treat people? What are we going to do about social issues, right? Now you've got someone who wants to take on social issues, but at what cost? Right? Some people
They
are
should
so
do it
excited
because
getting
they
these
always
stimulus checks, but it's going to hurt us in certain ways.
yeah, they because sometimes they try to do so radical changes instead of doing mild changes and see how it goes and see how that works. Sometimes instead of taking a slice, they want to take the whole pie, and that's what I think is wrong. But I want to put a pin in this conversation. We'll touch back on it as it progresses and it develops even further. I want to talk about Carlos. A previous shows about 3 weeks ago. I don't even remember what show we talked about Formula One,
Yeah,
and
man.
I told you about the show to watch the show. I don't know if any of our listeners took up on that offering because I didn't get no message or anything in the comments says that Formula One was trash. I think if they actually watched it, and I know that you went back and watched it, and I would love to take your take because obviously we're in the heat of the battle. We had our second race,
Oh, here we
and
go.
we're going leading up to the third one, and it's been an intense start so far.
I'm a fan. I've always loved Formula One, but I did not know the drama behind Formula One until I saw the Netflix series. Right, not the
Mm-hmm.
documentary. It's almost like a documentary too,
Yeah.
but this docu series. How about that? This
Mm-hmm.
docu
Yeah.
series, this reality show of
Well, I
the
would call it
item.
entertaining because they spin stuff to their ways, but it makes it super more interesting,
Oh
right?
yeah, so much better. But I mean, we've always known Mercedes takes the win in a majority of for a majority of reasons. But Hamilton, man, Hamilton has. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Verstappen uh, got first place on the first race, and now Hamilton has taken the victory on the second race, which means I don't know if you can hold that man down, Alex.
Um, yeah, no, dude. Um, it's very interesting because both are super strong, and I think you got your I think you got it the other way around. Lewis Hamilton's got the win in the first one, and Verstappen got the win on the second
On
one.
the second one,
But
yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but they're going
They're
head to
going neck to
toe.
neck. Yeah, 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 neck to neck right
And
now.
it seems like Red Bull had the advantage. Their car wasn't as fast in this particular second race, and Sergio had the second driver for Red Bull had a bad race. He basically had a 10-second penalty because he did a maneuver he shouldn't. Then his race, he was leading in fourth. He did a mistake and went off, caused him to lose out on the points. Bottas, which is our second driver for
Yeah, for
Mercedes,
Mercedes, yeah.
he had a terrible race as well. He ended up crashing with Russell, knocked him out of the race. So now it only left the two Red Bulls. I mean, sorry, the Red Bull and the Mercedes car fighting for first and second position. Lewis had a crash as well. He came back to take second position. It was interesting. All I can say is when you start investing in those people's lives and the drama behind, it really gets interesting, and you learn to appreciate the sport. You know what it takes, and dude, I love it. I'm a big fan for years, 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 and I'm glad that you finally seen the different side of it.
Oh
And I will
man,
encourage any dude and
so good.
listeners out there, if you haven't watched it, please go watch season 3. Just watch it. Watch all the seasons and get in. If anything, if you don't like it, you will definitely love the show.
Definitely. I listen. I if I'll at first when I saw this come out on Netflix, I thought to myself, no, I don't think this is going to work out. But when you said give it a shot, I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. And the first two, yeah, the first two episodes are kind of slow. They're building they're
Hmm.
laying the lay of the land. They're introducing you to the managers, the drivers, the culture. They're trying to slowly expose you to this culture. Now, I knew there was some kind of, I guess we can call it friction between teammates, but I had no idea the deep level of friction that teammates have on a race, man. I mean, instead of working as a team to get to the top, you got to beat the heck out of your teammate, right? In every way that you can. And
You
I'm not
gotta
just
do
talking
both.
about on the
You gotta
track,
do
right?
both.
Yeah. You
Help
got
the
to get in
team
their
and beat your
head.
teammate.
That's
Yep.
right. You got to get in their head outside, when the cameras aren't rolling, you got to get in their head. And, I'm not even talking to him. He's not even talking to me. Like, I don't know those things. All I see is when I get on the race, it's Saturday or it's Sunday. I'm watching, the rounds go by and I'm thinking, oh, that was a decent race. That was cool. Oh man, someone crashed. Oh man, Sergio could have had that. Oh man, Hamilton always at the top. That's one thing. But now I know Max is struggling with Sergio right now. I know those two used to be close, but I know there is a division now, right? So I know the drama that takes place because of
Well,
this series, but it's a fantastic show, man. I'd
well,
encourage everyone to jump in on it.
it's interesting right now because nobody had been able to beat Max on the qualifying since 2018 when Ricardo, that now races for McLaren,
Yeah.
was on his team. He was the only one that was able to take a qualifying. No one has been able to do that for 2 years, and Sergio was able to take that. And there could be little, but he did it the right way, not by track position, not by stuff. He did it the right way.
Because he
Where
was in
now
the
it's like,
back
well,
all the time.
no, but yeah, and now Sergio has the ability to they show people,
Prove
and they
himself.
saw that they prove himself that, man, he's quick. Once he learns this Red Bull car and it comes underneath and it becomes kind of natural like it does to Max, um, you know, he's gonna push Max. I think people say no. I don't think. I think he will, and I think it'll show. In we'll see how the season develops. And look, I could talk for hours about Formula One because I really follow it. I every single day I check the news and everything. But I just wanted to talk briefly about it because I know you watched it and you actually become a bigger fan of the sport. And that's all I wanted to bring out of that.
Yeah, man. No, I'm glad you encouraged me to watch it. I probably wouldn't have done it on my own, only because I was like, oh man, that's cheesy. I think this is going to be more camera, more Hollywood than the reality of what took place. Now I'm like, man, when's season 4 coming out? I need season 4, right? Like
Because
that's
it
how
gives you a
good.
different perspective of the race,
Oh, it does.
because it
It
shows,
does.
because they focus more on the drama when everything's happened. Like, think about it like this: when Sergio crashed, like, yeah, the manager of Red Bull came out and it's like, look, Sergio, he had a bad race, he's gonna come
Yeah.
back even stronger,
Yeah.
blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
Yeah.
But internally, because they're all competitors and they're all trying to be, when he crashed, you know good and well he's like, ah, f this, like, oh my gosh, internally, or he might have said it even out loud. Because
Now
why?
you know.
They're because they're trying to beat Mercedes, and with one Mercedes out, and they would have finished in the fourth or third position, and one car in first, then Mercedes in second, and then he would have finished third or fourth. That would have given points to be able to leapfrog them in the constructors for the for constructors. What I mean as a team, there's two competitions happening at the end of the race. There's the world champ of the constructors, which means the club of the car.
Right.
So
Right.
that could be Ferrari, Mercedes, you name them.
Yeah.
And then there's a championship of the drivers
Right.
that, as a collective, they win and they become the world champ by
That's
the
right.
points that they develop through the races. So it's a big internal. And by the way, guys, I'm just gonna say this: between first, second, and third, and fourth, and fifth, and all there's major money differences. Who
Oh
gets the
man.
bigger pot? So
That's right.
it's a critical. If you land from, it could be a 30 million to 40 million difference one position to the next. So it matters because Formula One has spent millions of dollars where they're trying to cap it. And like I said, I could talk forever about it. But Carlos, why don't you finish up and wrap us the show?
Yeah, man. This quote, as you guys always know, we always like to end the quote, end the show. I mean, with a quote, and I think this talking about success, even talking about hypothetically speaking, if you were homeless, but reviewing, the networking philosophy, getting yourself through, understanding these capital tax rates, and just really wanting to better yourself. That's the whole point of our show, guys, is that we hope that as you listen and you walk away, this is an opportunity for you that you're bettering yourself, right? I believe today, before we hit record, Alex was talking to a viewer, to a listener, who said, now that they had this conversation specifically about stocks, you were blown away that this person could actually now carry a conversation about stocks as they're having a conversation with you, because they're listening to the show, they're doing their research, and now they can actually defend themselves or figure out how this works, right? So,
Yeah, for sure.
at the end of the day, we really want you guys to see this show as an opportunity for growth. So, all that to say, that I found this quote, Alex, and this is by hashtag motivation. And it says, little by little, day by day, what is meant for you will find its way. I'll say it again. Little by little, day by day, what is meant for you will find its way.
We'll
As
bring it
always,
my way.
oh man, over here, bring it, bring it. But my name is
No,
Carlos.
no, no. But before Carlos and before Alex, we want to say, thank you
Estoy
guys for
pedo.
listening. No, thank you for listening. We really do appreciate it. We want to thank all our listeners for sticking with us to the end. If you made it this far, don't be shy. Go ahead, give us a like, share it with
Bing.
your with someone that you know that can benefit from the show. And I hope you guys enjoy today's episode. And with that, I'm Alex. That's
I'm
Carlos
Carlos.
over there. And then thank you for tuning in.
Peace out, guys.
Peace out.